This sound now, you should be all right, give me a second. I think we, okay.
Do you want to make the announcement?
Yeah.
Mill Street, State Street.
You okay? Yeah, we're on, one second, okay.
I'm
Right, oh, yeah, that's it. When they broadcast it on YouTube, they show me the something on. It's all right, it's not, I got it.
Can I open the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
You had the sound. He has a sound, now it does, it's going on and off. Well, okay, all right, that's all for now. Yeah. I don't know what it is. 1, 2, yeah, I see the sound, we have sound. No. Okay.
There we are.
Can I get a motion to open the planning board meeting for October 8th, 2024?
I make a motion? Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
at
6:45.
6:45 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I want to make a couple announcements before we get started. We have a sign up sheet outside on the table for each one of the public hearings that we're gonna be hoping to talk about tonight. So if you want to speak, please take the time now to go and sign your name on the sign up sheet. Okay? I'm not gonna call on you if you don't sign up, so please put your name on the sign up sheet, so we'll take it in and so. Oh, and I wanna make the announcement that Mill Street lost and State Street lost, that will not be here tonight. But we're still gonna open the public hearing for both. I mean, the public hearing for Mill Street, but not State Street. Okay, but they won't be here tonight. Right, we'll take public comments, but there's no information that we can disclose to the, okay? And we put down a couple of, requests of conduct, and we are asking that no one, speaks, no public comments. We're asking you not to make public comments about things that's not on our agenda. The agenda is also outside that you can take a copy of. We're also asking that when you do speak, you speak for 2 minutes. There's no way we can stay here as long as we did last month. Please understand that we are volunteers. We are committed to do this, but let's work together to get things moving along. Absolutely. So we're asking that each member of the public place their name on the sign-up sheet if they want to speak. They're going to be given 2 minutes to speak. After everybody gets one chance to speak, we'll call on you again. If you have more to say, then you'll get another 2 minutes. We're asking that, that's only if time allows. If we're getting late at night, we may not call on you for that second time. And we're also asking that everybody stay calm. Please do not speak out of turn. Please do not get in debates and arguments. Direct all your questions to the planning board. And just, let's act like adults and citizens of Hudson. We all are here for the same thing. And I don't think there's anybody here that don't live here, okay? All right, I guess we will start. Could I get a motion to open the public hearing for 735 Columbia Street?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Does anybody from the public, from the planning board have anything to say about 735? There was no new information submitted. Does anybody from the public have anything to say about 735? Can you ask about that?
Anybody
have a hand up?
No one's had their hand up.
Okay, so, can I You have to close it till next month, and just say until they notify.
We can do that, but when they do come back, we'll have to re-notice the hearing.
Okay, I'd rather do it that way. Okay, we're gonna, can I get a motion to,
So it would be to indefinitely adjourn.
indefinitely adjourn 735 Columbia Street until they notify us that they're coming?
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, can I go? Okay,
A second.
all in favor?
Alright.
Any opposed? Okay, good, so we're going to, just indefinitely postpone it until they let us know they're ready by sending us information and getting it in on time, all right? Okay, can I get a motion to open the public hearing for what is called the Boulevards, which is 117, 119, and 121 Fairview Avenue, 2 and 4 Parkwood Boulevard, and 1 Oakwood Boulevard? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Parkwood, are you here? This is Parkwood. Thank you.
Good evening. Charles Gottlieb from Whiteman, Osterman and Hannah, Land Use Council for the applicant. Here this evening with our project team, Crystal Hines, who's also a project attorney, Jen Crawford, project engineer, Walter Chatham, project architect, and Lou Piro, representing the applicant. We're here this evening again for a proposed residential and office development along Fairview Avenue. This evening, we want to present revised drawings and a revised project to the planning board. The goals this evening is to get the planning board's feedback on these revised drawings, which has scaled back the project based on some concerns and comments we're hearing both from them.
Can I start for 1 minute? Randall, who is the one that should be on? That's that time.
You can't get onto the Zoom?
No. You can call. Okay, go ahead.
Sure, no problem. The goals for this evening is we wanted to get the planning board's feedback on this kind of latest iteration of the project. Answer any questions the planning board has, get an understanding from the planning board and the planning board's consultants. What other technical and detailed information this board would like to further the secret process. One of the main goals, in my eyes for tonight, is to get an understanding from the planning board if we should be taking this revised project, this scaled back project design, and spending the effort into more detailed drawings and other technical items in the engineer's comment letter. Another goal of mine before kind of the technical difficulties was to close the public hearing. But certainly I think we can work towards that. I believe this project has now been under review by the planning board for about 15 months or so, if not more. So we're excited to share the revisions and try to get this moving forward expeditiously. Our recent submission includes details related to the project changes, response to comment document related to planning board comments, committee reports, and public concerns. Response to traffic comments was also included. I'll review those quickly and then kind of hand it over to the technical team here to walk you through that. The project changes, it's a significant reduction from where we started. And I think before we dive into this, it's important to understand in context of the project changes. As originally proposed, there was nothing in the record, whether it be zoning, density, traffic, that required any mitigation. Certainly, that's in the applicant's eyes. However, hearing the concerns from the public, hearing the concerns from the planning board, there is a negotiated process here, and the project has been scaled back. The newest plans are the lowest scaled back project to make this project work, to make it feasible, and to bring additional housing to the city. We've submitted site plans, landscape plans, lighting plans, and architectural elevations to try to represent what the new project is. Briefly, we've gone down to 26 residential units from 30. That includes 17 one-bedroom units, 9 two-bedroom units. We've reduced the office spaces to 7 offices, which again will be small individual offices. They're not, large-scale office space. They're satellite offices for likely one person to conduct business at these. The project site plan has been revised to include 27 parking spaces actually on the project site. These are angled parking spaces. Their size is 9 by 18 feet, which does require an area variance from the zoning board of appeals, given that the code requires 10 by 20 feet for parking spaces. I will note that 10 by 20 feet for parking spaces is quite a large parking space. The industry standard is actually 9 by 18. Most municipalities have 9 by 18. So that's not really a hard ask to make in our eyes. The most significant change here is that there will be a long-term lease agreement between the applicant and BKO Boulevards LLC for 9 parking spaces located at an existing parking area at 23 Oakwood. Right now, this parking area, which is in walking distance to the project site, is not striped, not improved. It is parking for residents in the area that live in the area. Individually, that applicant is seeking permits to stripe and improve that parking lot. So there will be 9 spaces dedicated for use by this project.
Isn't it just grass right now?
I believe it's grass and dirt. It's not improved with gravel or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm doing my, I think, what you.
So that's a total of 36 parking spaces for 26 units and 7 offices. If we look at the planning board subcommittee report, which made a conclusory statement that the applicant has to go down to 15 residential units with the 8 office spaces, because there was only 26 parking spaces. These additional parking spaces brings us to that same number. We have 26 units, 7 offices, and then 36 parking spaces. Related to response to comments. Before I start, I wanted to just put a few things again into context. To understand the legal parameters around this board's review, which your attorney will advise you on, but I just wanted to highlight for the record. One is, it's very well settled in New York that to the extent the zoning code is ambiguous or contradictory, it must be weighed in favor of the applicant or the property owner. 2 is to the extent that there is any applicable prior precedent set by an administrative board, such as this board or the ZBA, whether it be how a local law is applied or review of similar impacts, this board should follow that prior precedent. Most importantly, this board can't act on conclusory statements or findings or anything that's not supported in the record. I know there is a lot of contention around this project, whether it be political contention, whether it be contention from the neighbors. But one of the things that this board should realize is that generalized community opposition without concrete evidence of an impact cannot be a rational basis for this board's determination. That said, we have heard the community and we've made the project changes accordingly. Related to planning board comments, the subcommittee report and the subcommittee findings, again, which were adopted in our absence, they essentially make a threat to the applicant. Reduce it down to 15 units or you're going to get a secret positive declaration. To make that, the subcommittee and this planning board said, we're going to apply zoning code section 325.18 to make sure you lower your density to where we want. However, 325.18 talks about net parcel size. It talks about when this board is reviewing a subdivision. How big do we want the lots? Are they too small? Does that make it too dense? Again, to the extent that that language is ambiguous or contradictory, that has to be weighed in favor of the applicant. That said, related to that section, this project, other than the parking space stalls, is completely compliant with all area and bulk regulations, demonstrating that its density is appropriate. There were comments related to reducing density because of the parking restraints. This board has heard me say before, off-street parking is not required in the city of Hudson. That said, off-street parking spaces has now been increased to a level that the planning board wanted to see from the start. The planning board subcommittee report also notes traffic problems as a reason to reduce density. However, there's no support in the record for that subcommittee finding. Those are just conclusory statements. In fact, we have now review memos from planning board consultants that really there's only two, I believe, outstanding items that are not of significant nature related to traffic. Further, the DOT threshold for something that is a significant traffic generator is not met by this project. We talked about road width a little bit at the last meeting. With the on-street parking, whether or not our project would utilize on-street parking, what effect that would have. Jen will go through our response to comments and some responses we have there, but I just want to highlight one thing. Now that we have increased off-street parking, the utilization of any on-street parking is going to be minimal. Oakwood Boulevard is 22 feet at its narrowest in certain points. 23 feet is the majority. I think we heard that at the last meeting. Parkwood Boulevard is 25 feet wide. I want to draw your attention to something that happened last meeting, the Mill Street project. It was on the record at the last meeting that that road is 20 feet wide with on-street parking. That project is proposing many more units than we are proposing. This board adopted a negative declaration, likely to see that project go through, despite that road width with on-street parking being more narrow than Oakwood and Parkwood. There was a question related to zoning because we have 5 lots going into 1 at one point. 3 of these lots are in the R2 zoning district. Those lots are improved with the new angled parking spaces and access drives. 2 of the larger lots that front on Fairview Avenue, those are located in the GC zoning district, and those are where the buildings are located, the office space and the multifamily. A big concern of the residents and the subcommittee report was community character and its evaluation under secret. We heard a lot from the residents that the community character is small, single-family homes in that area. We took a kind of a deeper dive into what is the actual community character here. And if you look at your zoning map, from the railroad tracks all the way up to Oakwood, all the lots that front on Fairview Avenue are zoned GC, commercial zoning. Then there is R2 behind that is not fronting on Fairview. So really the character of the community is commercial, multifamily uses, which are permitted in the GC district to be fronting on your more heavily trafficked road, Fairview. And then behind that, you have the smaller, dense, single-family residential units. I wanted to touch on sidewalks a little bit because that was a recurring theme. This project has proposed sidewalks on Parkwood, Fairview, and Oakwood. The design there is to ensure that when the city's sidewalk initiative gets kicked off, which was started in 2003 by a local law, they will be connected. 2023 is when a local law was passed to facilitate, sidewalk maintenance and the addition of new sidewalks in the city. Both sides of Parkwood have sidewalks. The east side of Oakwood, the majority of it has a sidewalk. From our new off-street parking area to the project, connected by a sidewalk. So really, this project is facilitating a citywide initiative to make things more connected. And I thought that was important to highlight because while some people may have a car, some people will be pedestrians and they'll utilize the Empire State Bike Trail and walking and so forth. Related to bedroom counts, there was a comment that the subcommittee wanted to see more 3-bedroom units. I just wanted to highlight the contradictory nature of that, given that 3-bedroom units increase the amount of people that are living there, but you're likely to have more cars on the site. 3-bedroom units is likely going to house either 3 separate individuals who are unrelated, or a larger family unit that might have 1 or more cars. With the combination of the project now being 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, it is very unlikely, or it is unlikely that the project's gonna reduce or result in any school-age children. There's a famous Rutgers study to that effect. It's going to likely be couples or folks living alone, without families who are in need of housing that may or may not have 1 car.
You can say, like, it's a good thing to not have school-age children.
At the moment, personally, it sounds glorious. There were a couple of comments related to, from the public, about how there's too many occupants in the current single-family homes in that area because they've gone from home ownership occupied to rentals. We certainly have no control over on other people's property. But what we can assure is that occupants of this project will only be permitted, per building code requirements. Again, 1 and 2 bedroom units will not result in many school-age children, if any at all. Delivery trucks are very unlikely. You're gonna have mainly residential units here, so you're gonna have Amazon trucks. The office spaces are small, they're not large headquarters, so there's likely to be not that many deliveries. And the project is fully compliant with the fire code, and from my understanding has been reviewed by your code enforcement officer preliminarily. So with that said, I'll hand it over to Jen to walk through traffic and some site plan comments, but again, we really just want to get an understanding from this board as to how they view this scaled down revised drawing.
So before you hand over, I just, for the record, want to object to a lot of the characterizations that you peppered into your talk tonight about the planning board's review. You use terms like conclusory statements, threats, etc. I understand you're trying to make a record for your client, but the planning board takes its review role seriously, and I don't want to let those lie on the record without objection.
Understood.
Okay.
I just have a couple of questions before you go on. The space that you're talking about, I did have an occasion to see that. Is there a mechanism, obviously you can't force people to park in that space, but I did know that is a block away, kind of from the main unit. And most people, I believe, are just not gonna use it. I mean, it's great that you did it, and certainly counts toward, the capability of the space to have that as a practicality issue, as an issue of practicality. It is almost so far as to be barely usable, so those people are probably gonna end up on the street. That, but again, I think you met a goal of providing parking, and that's something that you and your tenants are gonna have to deal with. However, are you going to have some sort of policy so that your residents will utilize that parking lot? Incentivize them to utilize it.
Sure, I think that's a good question, and that's not something we've totally fleshed out. Julie must stop me if I'm wrong, but I understand what you're saying, because the office spaces, they might not, the guests of the office space, let's see, they might not want to drive and then walk and so forth. Residents might be more willing to park because they know they have a secure spot and then walk. So we can certainly get that information for you. I will say though, having a kind of a remote parking lot away from a project site is not an uncommon theory, especially on this board. I think when we went through the Depot district, we were struggling in the off-street parking conversation there. And now there's going to be additional off-street parking a block away down by the fire station. But I think the policy you're looking for, I think we can flesh out.
Okay.
Being, is it going to be residents? Is it going to be office space users or visitors or so forth?
I can comment on that if I may.
Yeah.
It's intended to go with the office spaces. So
Okay,
if you lease an office space, you will be parking in that lot. That is your assigned parking.
okay, so, right, so
Not for
that,
the residents that are living there, but for the office users, who would just be day users, parking the lot.
and that frees up the other spots.
Yes.
Perfect. The second question was, initially early on in the project, we talked about garbage removal, and you initially had the truck stopping on Fairview Avenue. but when you mentioned delivery trucks, it sparked, to my memory, how is that gonna happen now? Like,
Jen?
Yeah. So, we actually, in the revised version, the trash is proposed to be stored in this location. And there's a fenced in, trash yard, which also includes, some of our ground level HVAC units, kind of contained in the same area. So access to that spot would be off of Parkway.
okay. And the other thing is, and again, this is not your problem, but it is a consideration with the project, is that because of the size of the school buses, going down the street, that was sort of like the sort of mitigating circumstance that allowed for a lot of traffic and potential congestion. And you know that if you drive there from 7 to 8 o'clock on any school day, you're gonna see school buses driving and making that road less hard to navigate. Any thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that what was really helpful, I mean, to address this existing condition, right? Because regardless of our project, people are allowed to park in the street. But I think it was really helpful when, since we initially proposed the project, the city did reduce the allowed parking to just one side. So that's already,
Okay.
I imagine, done quite a bit to address it. And, as the engineer had indicated in their review of our traffic, the 22 feet, though small, it is technically able to pass cars. It might be challenging, but again, as Charlie mentioned, it is also greater than other previously approved projects. Additionally, we're not on a dead end like the other project. We will have people coming from Fairview, from the north, from the south, from the city center. It's not all directed to one specific street, unlike, the other project that was at a dead end.
Thank you.
I mean, I have a few questions about parking after we're talking about it. The first one is, I think we need you to demonstrate how many spaces you can actually get there.
I actually went down to the site, it's a 40 by 40 area. And it was, roughly maybe you can get 4 cars there. So we really need to see that it's an improved parking lot that can actually handle 9 spaces.
So are you requiring that the whole parking area be surfaced, or would compacted dirt, suffice, given that it's an existing parking lot that I don't believe we're currently looking to improve, but just use?
But these curb stops or
It'd
something,
have to be
show us
fresh.
how you fit 9 cars.
Yeah, we can show you how we fit. I'm just getting at the actual money that would have to go into maybe resurfacing
It would need to be gravel, parking surface and grass.
And right now, don't isn't it being used by residents of the 3 buildings on the corner?
Correct.
So you're taking all of their space?
No,
No, it'd be in addition to.
So how many so those are how many? 4 per house, 4 family per house?
are you talking at
Yeah.
23 Parkway?
Right, the spaces that you're taking,
Yeah,
how many families per house? Is 3 of them on the corner?
No,
Or you don't-
that's only for one house, that's for 36, Oakwood, the houses are Parkway, excuse me, the houses.
So that's
at Oakwood.
is it 4 family?
No, it's a 2-family right now,
Mhm.
there's another 2 units in the back that have not been developed, but there's also parking along the side of that building and in the back.
Okay, so you have a space for them?
Yes.
You will have a space for them?
Yeah.
And it's only for one lot,
Where-
for one house?
Say that again?
That lot is only for one house on that corner?
Well, that lot is a separate lot, it's not attached to that house.
But aren't they using it though?
Yeah, they do. They're,
So where
The
did
lot
they
is-
go?
well, as I said, there's some spaces at 36 that will be used. We can develop that parking lot to have, 12 spaces. 3 of those spaces we're gonna keep for the 36 Parkway, the other 9 we're going to, lease to HQO.
So, but then the lease is the next question. What is a long-term lease? Normally when we do off-street parking, you want it to run for the life of the project.
So any other project that I brought in front of this board that has, outside parking has a lifetime lease. I know that.
No, we would be required to parking. So,
No,
yes,
not for the, WIC wasn't required,
I don't know what they do with it.
but I'm just saying,
So it's normal,
I don't
normally,
require.
That's a hotel.
As long as.
hear me out, it's just the lease, you can cancel that 30 days, right? Both parties can say, okay, thanks for it, and it's over. So it doesn't really give the planning board the assurance that it would need. Because as we know, these parking spaces become an
Or
important
we should
issue.
come back next time with a lease and you can.
But then there's also,
Before you.
I understand the question, it could,
Yeah, thank
for the longevity of the use on the project site, those parking spaces will be good.
But before you come back with the lease, you gotta show us the actual.
well,
Yeah, there's more to
Yeah.
flesh out.
Because right now, we were a little confused as to, first I was confused as to where it was. And now that I know where it is, I'm confused on how can it be because there are houses there, but.
Those houses don't have access, they don't have any right to that parking. No house has a right to that parking.
So it's honestly, that parking lot needs to be part of the site plan. We need the owner's permission, whoever owns that lot needs to say, yes, by the way, I agree to leave these spaces.
I'm the owner of that lot and I can say I agree.
Okay, and it should be on the plan, and then it's part of the site plan that's approved. And the site plan is approved, you can say, you know, it's this building and these spaces, and it's for the businesses, so that there's some kind of shared parking arrangement, right, with tenants. I assume that's why you chose the businesses, so I think you've gotta still give us all the right.
Right, and absolutely, it leaves it empty at night, so the tenants can park. So I would hate to see people be put out, but just.
Going to that, is there gonna be restrictions on those that nobody else besides the boulevard can park in those spots?
It's a private parking lot. If people park there, they get towed.
Okay.
I always thought it was for that building. Anyway, now. Any more questions from the planning board? Okay, now I'm gonna ask again, is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak that's not on the sign-up sheet for the boulevard? This is the boulevard. I only have 2 names. Okay,
But what the, more question, can you have another part of your?
Finish your.
Jen, oh, you didn't finish, I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't start, but. To be quite honest, Charlie took the wind out of my music. Hit on most of what I was talking about. I guess I would add that, you know, the other thing on the engineering front that we had, looked further into was the site distances. And so, you know, in the updated submission, we did confirm that, you know, the building and the proposed trees are not within the site distance, the existing site distances, we will not, further affect it. So I guess that's the only other one I would add, because Charlie touched on pretty much everything I was.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Oh, okay, no, that's it. Oh,
Where you have the, you said that's where the, disposal of the garbage trucks gonna come to pick up the garbage. It's gonna be right on the corner
right here.
of Parkwood and, Fairview. Are
Correct.
they gonna be able to pull in?
No,
So they would be
So
coming
they're gonna
to
block-
the road.
Yeah, they're
so
gonna-
they would have to park, pull over on Parkwood and, you know, maybe walk a little bit, yeah, but.
They're not gonna.
It's totes, it's
Get back.
What's that?
It's totes, not a dumpster.
Correct, yeah.
Is there a way you can do a indent in the
Yeah.
curb to give the garbage truck a way to, you know, back, you know, just sit there on the side of the road?
I see what they do on my boat.
There is already, a little bit of an indent here.
Is there a way you could go right to the sidewalk and give them easier access?
Sure, yeah.
Just
Yeah. Yeah, you do an indentation, cause I see it all around, and trust me, when they come, traffic stops. And sometimes it stops both ways because it, you know, so you really.
Yeah, no, I think that that's a very reasonable request that we can.
Thank you.
So the other, Charlie, thank you for reminding me, I wanted to update the board on the progress that we've had with the DOT. And so we've been in communications with them, and as with them, we're trying to focus on the traffic impacts. And so they've had, you know, some miscellaneous questions about, drainage, you know, on Fairview, which, you know, definitely will address. They have been looking at whether, Fairview Avenue needs a turning lane. And what we're finding is that ASHTO would recommend that. ASHTO is the engineering, standard that one might look to define that. They recommend it now, they probably would have recommended it years ago. And it's not our project, Tiffany. So I had a conversation with the DOT this afternoon, actually, finally got a hold of them. And, you know, what I understand they're ultimately looking for is just to make sure that the location that we put our curb doesn't prohibit them from being able to extend the third lane along all of Fairview. So that's another, item that we're looking to incorporate into the design to make sure that our design is kind of build ready for when the DOT is ready to install turn lane. But our project, you know, they agreed is relatively small trips relative to the overall traffic. We're not putting over actual, this is an existing condition that has been that way for years.
Did you say DOT went off in the third lane?
They would like to, they're investigating whether they ought to install a
That
turn
means
lane.
they're gonna take property away from people on both sides.
Fairview Avenue was made to be two lanes.
It
Never
is.
was,
Oh,
it's made to be two lanes. It's always been two lanes, better than the three. So there's room to.
Yeah, so, you know, we're just trying to make sure that we're not, you know, overextending the location of the curb. I think right now we're proposing it where it currently is. But we have space to push it back if we need to, and, you know, that just makes it more able for them to do that, you know, for the entire community.
Can you include correspondence with DOT in your next one?
sure, yes, please.
And because the parking area is mainly used for daytime business use, you're not gonna have any lighting there.
Hadn't planned on.
At the parking lot,
Yeah.
the offsite lot.
The
So,
offsite.
yeah, then you might, because when nighttime comes at 4. And people working till 5. They're gonna need lighting.
During winter months.
Right.
It's going to be, it's going to be lighting.
We can include that in the site plan, right, because we're pulling it into the site plan. What I can say is that the way that we plan to design it would not allow for off-site light trespass. We would
Right.
direct the lights in such a way that they would not shine onto neighbors' property.
Well,
All of you finished? Anybody else among this group want to talk?
No, we're just, planning board comment on the kind of reduced scale of the project, so that we can, you know, go forward with investing more into the design.
When you come back, we'll be showing us how this extra parking is gonna work. We'll have any comments on that. Because that was a question that was asked, well, where is this parking lot?
Sure.
Now it's a block away. So now it's also connected with other homes. You're gonna take it away, but you're gonna make a lot of the businesses, so you run down 7 businesses only.
Yep.
Okay, that's from 20.
No, from 8.
For me. And all the parking for the businesses is now gonna be part of the residential, which is good.
you're definitely making progress. I mean,
Yeah.
these are all positive and well thought out changes.
And we all can thank them for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Just
guess,
wanna make sure we understand it completely.
sure. One other thing that we can submit in the record, but I'll just show it here because you asked about the location of the lot relative to our site. We are, oh, this didn't come. Anyway, what this is a map, it was requested in the last meeting, a visual showing where we had assumed there are available spaces. You know, I think it's a little bit of a moot point, given that we've also provided extra off-street parking. So our generation or parking load on the streets is really very, very low, like pieces. But so we have a map that just shows, you know, where we had assumed, like this is what represents what we had assumed to be a full build out. Let's say every viable parking space is taken. So you'll see, we didn't assume anything on the curve. We only assumed one side of street parking. There's nothing on this side. You know, we see lots and lots and lots of gaps for driveways, places that you could temporarily pull over if you see oncoming traffic. It's so that, you know, we'll submit it for the record because I know it was requested.
Point out the remote lot. too.
And then the remote lot is located here.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at
Yeah.
the wrong area.
So you can access it fully on the sidewalk. You can get back to the
Maybe we
building.
should turn it around.
On existing
a little bit so
sidewalk.
public can see. Yeah. Can everybody see that? Can we go this way? No.
If you show it to the,
this the off-street parking?
Show it to the camera?
yeah,
Correct. This,
Oh, I.
Put it in front of the camera, put people on the Zoom to see.
And we'll submit it to you in
Just
PDF,
a
so
little
it's
bit,
like, you know, on the website, you should look at it.
Or closer should pick you up, there you go. Oh, that one.
Seems to be looking at me.
Hold it up a little high.
The preferred spaces.
Smile.
Now it's time for.
Oh, it's moving, it's following me. I think we can provide a more clear version for folks to look at.
The lot about 650 feet away from the apartments.
Connected on, fully on existing lines. Oh, the discount.
They're using that empty lot, which. That's right.
Oh, really?
No, I'm familiar with it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the video, but, you know, I had to really take my trip with you, because.
And we'll provide a better depiction of what it'll look like.
Alright. Okay, now we're gonna take comments from the public. I ask again, is there anyone in the public that did not sign the sign-up sheet for the little box? Did you did not, okay, here. Put your name on the sign-up sheet. Yeah. No, Randy, here it is. We brought it up because we.
Jones. You don't know where that is.
Yeah, pass it around. You want to see it?
I live there, I remember.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're gonna call on to Teresa Nicholson.
Hi.
All right, this is Teresa Nicholson.
I don't have a lot to ask, because, you know, we did send in the email and I'm sure you'll,
Okay, but were you able to go on the portal to see their new proposal?
no, I didn't.
Okay, if you go on our sheet, on our page. And you hit it on, I don't think you have to, maybe you do have to register if you email it.
Well, but I mean, they just made a lovely presentation, so that kind of makes it a moot point.
Okay.
So, if you'll look at, my husband and I, we sent in correspondence,
Yes, you did.
so that says a lot. So in regards to the parking lot, it is, you know, kind of quite a distance from the project. There's a sidewalk problem, sidewalk goes a little bit more than half down, and there are no sidewalks on the other side of the
That's
street.
from Oakwood, right? You're talking about Oakwood,
Right.
yeah. It's on the other side.
And from living, you know, Oakwood for 31 years, and to go anywhere towards the school or any, that way you have to walk out in the road, which, you know, is difficult. And if you have a pet, you have a small child, it's really hard. Now, the location of the parking lot, I walked past it the other day, I mean, obviously I've known where it was for years. And I always thought it was attached to those apartments. And we had a friend who rented one of those years ago, and they always parked there. So we did not know who owned that lot. So I looked at it and I was like surprised how far it went back. Then I was surprised who owned it. And then I looked how many homes it would affect on both Parkwood and Oakwood, which is quite a bit. So I encourage all of you to go walk through it, really look at it and see what you think, because
What do you mean by how many homes
on,
will
on,
affect?
on the sides of it, like whether it's lighting, noise.
How many homes the parking lot will affect?
I'm not sure if I'm getting my thumb.
You said you were surprised at how many homes.
Yes,
it would
because I didn't
affect.
know it went back that far.
Right.
So homes on Oakwood border that lot, and homes on Carwood border that lot.
Okay, but they're not, it's a private lot, so are they using it for anything?
No, what I'm saying is they can look into this lot, or they can look into the homes. It could, noise or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So the other thing about that is the location of it with traffic. If, when you go to look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about. There is an intersection with Oakwood and Carwood that is quick. And it's like, I don't know, 20 feet if that, before the exit of that parking lot. Same thing coming from the other direction. It's like right almost in that intersection, which is narrow and which is very well traveled. And, you've heard all the other things I've had to say about the mass, cars going down, 150 or more cars going down Oakwood. And, that kind of thing. Buses are now going back down. And the other thing, and I know this is not a planning board thing, but maybe you can help us with this, is that, cars speed down that street. We need one of those signs like Oakdale has, and Harry Howard and several other streets that says, how fast you're going. Because our street, they're going 40 miles per hour or more. It needs to be policed. Sometimes maybe during the peak hours of 7:30 to 8:30 and, in the afternoon, then maybe a patrol car can be somewhere there. I know that there's one almost always parked on Parkwood at the strangest times. Maybe to catch somebody trying to go through a stop sign, I don't know. But I think that would be really advantageous to all, to the neighbors, to the neighborhood, to people traveling. Yeah, I mean, if you have any pull with that, that would be great.
I think
And
the common council has some committees, right? I think they have a parking committee.
right, it's a concern that should be raised.
With the common council.
Common council.
Yes,
okay.
definitely.
And I reserve any other comments for another meeting or whatever.
Thank you, Teresa. Brian?
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Board, my name is Brian Nicholson, I live at 4 Oakwood Boulevard, lifelong resident of Hudson. Concerns, as have been stated, are traffic, buses, just the sheer volume of what comes down that street, Parkwood and Oakwood, in mornings and the afternoons, 2 to 2.5 hours. Council has addressed, this parking lot, which is great, it really is. But however, that between Parkwood and Oakwood is a real small strip with a dip, with kind of a ripped up sidewalk that goes up towards Park. And once again, the cars, they fly through there. They really will. And everything just kind of, on the Oakwood side, just kind of funnels into that last corner where Oakwood meets Parkwood, go to Pat, go to the right. Now the buses, there's a daycare there. And like you stated before, it's no control of anyone related to the project. There are a lot of apartments being rented with kids and cars parked on the streets. It just really bottles up. Incredible. We get tight, that's 20 feet, 21 feet. So then it gets real. It's just back up.
So are your concerns about how cars are gonna exit that lot?
Yeah,
I
that,
think that's
and
right.
also, I'm not so sure, I mean, people have been parking there for a long time. I lived there my whole life, one of the boulevard, 2 over the boulevard. They have, like it or not. Now, you're gonna make that a private lot, which is, you're right, you own the property. And where are those cars? They're in that lot, they're gonna go on the street.
Well, she
which
did
is already
say,
kind of taxed.
no, she did say
You know?
she's gonna, they're gonna be able to park behind their houses. That 3 is 4, but I'm sure they're gonna do that to make sure,
Which is.
yeah, that the houses will
That's
have.
good.
I don't think
It's gonna
they're gonna
alleviate
take
a lot of people on both boulevard, so to speak. They're still all coming out in a narrow spot, where they all kind of converge. But it's just food for thought, something to consider, and,
That's true.
you know, it's, there are some serious safety concerns. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. What? You have the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, behind you, Crystal. Miss Crystal,
Sorry about that.
you own a property
Yes,
from, Oakwood to the back.
Okay.
How wide is that lot and how much of that lot belongs to the houses on Oakwood or on Parkwood?
off the top of my head, I don't recall the width, but I
Right,
will say that there's also an easement. So there's a lot and there's an easement for ingress and egress to the lot.
yeah,
I think that belongs to those, Parkwood properties.
roughly, yeah.
And we have an easement to go over that. I wanna say it's, I don't know, I don't have a copy of the map with me, I just don't recall off the top of my head what the.
So if you go along with this parking lot, taking up that space, there's still space for those Parkwood Boulevard residents to pull behind their house.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, so like I said, we're planning on 13 spaces in that, or 12 spaces in that lot. We'll keep 3 for the apartments that we have across the street.
Right.
9 will go to HQ out.
Right.
So then we have another unit that we can finish at 36. We have parking along the side of that building, and we have a big door in the back as well. And the side of the building would be sufficient for the back.
Do they have to show that on?
Yes.
The
The lot's only 100 feet wide long,
And it's
And-
longer than that, I think it's 127.
I just scaled it on Google Earth, it's about 100.
All right, I have a survey map, I can tell you that's not.
Okay.
Normally with tax map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not saying you're wrong. And it's only enough to get parking on one side. I don't think you're gonna get 12 spaces.
No, with the, we get 12 spaces in.
We're gonna have to show that on.
Yep.
We're going for the variance for the 9 to 18 spots instead of the 10 by 20.
Okay.
We've got 1 handicap spot on the lot. I already talked to Craig Hague about that.
It'd also be great if you could just get Craig to weigh in and say that it, you know, it's permitted to use the parking.
Yeah, the R2, I think it's in the accessory uses, parking, residential parking.
There's also existing.
Yeah, it's existing as well. It's got a parking lot for,
So it's an existing non-conformity perhaps that can continue.
I actually think that it's not non-conforming. I think parking is allowed in the accessory uses in the R2 districts. I have it, I don't have the citation on front.
Just when you put together your parking package.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jenny? Alan?
I just wondered, how big is your site?
Alan,
Construction?
Alan, why don't you ask us first?
Oh, okay.
So what
I
was
wanna
the question?
ask them how big they want.
You wanna ask them what, how big is it?
I wanted to find out the size of the property that they're building on.
This is the one, yeah. What's it? The size of the lot.
The total size of the line parcel.
The- That's with the parking and everything?
No, just what they're building on.
Okay, that's.
Wait, where the structures.
Correct.
Yes.
It's,
I don't have it like right in front of me, I recall it was somewhere between 0.5 and 0.6 acres.
I think it's just under a half acre.
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah, that's how density came up, was,
that's my question.
that's it?
That's it.
I just want to say, I really appreciate, you know, the effort of doing extra parking. I just didn't want to come across, you know,
No, we
not do that, you know.
Anymore, okay. So, Any more questions from the planning board? So I'm gonna get a motion to. How does that spoken? Well. So next month, you're gonna come back with a little more details on the parking, it's gonna be on your plans, it's gonna be, oh, you're gonna submit it during the week. And please submit it, 15 days prior to our meeting. It's very important that we get things as soon as you get it. You know, we do read, we consult, and we need to know what we're doing and not come to meetings to be told.
Yep, so there'll be, my memory serves me right,
The next.
site plan set, response to comments, include the remote parking lot in the site plan set with the dimensions and the striping, and then a narrative to go with that as to how those parking spaces are gonna be allocated, as well as the use question of the parking.
On the narrative, I mean, on their planning, can they also show how where the parking space is gonna be for the building, or is it not? It
Yes.
should be.
That
Yeah.
needs to be included. in
Yeah,
the
that needs to
narrative.
be, plus, I wanna add, if I can, about, I agree with what they're saying about exiting that parking lot. I've been on that block, and that's gonna be an issue, like if someone's coming out that parking lot, they wanna make a right. The car may go too far out, and somebody else is coming in, it's a blind spot there.
Yeah, I can see, though, I'm coming in and out of that parking lot with some frequency. That intersection does have stop signs at all.
I know, but I wanna see what type of signage or something that you guys are gonna do to, to create a caution. Let
Caution
people know
driveway.
coming,
Yeah, we can, I had that flag when I heard the
Yeah.
public comment.
we need to do that, yeah, we really need, that's something important, because, well, the block has problems already, and I don't wanna add to it, we don't want to.
And you're gonna have an agreement for the parking, for the land count of the project? Or some
Yeah,
other
so we'll
language?
flesh out the legality of that between the two owners of the project.
Okay,
And, once we have a template, we'll present the template, and then I imagine condition of approval will be having your attorney review and approve the language.
Okay, so you think you need them, you'll be here next month, or you wanna?
Don't ask the lawyer that question. I don't have to draw anything.
What do you say?
Right,
Should I continue it to next month, or
so is it 15 calendar days or business days?
it's
It's been
it's
kind of,
15 calendar days?
okay, so,
We've been trying to make it
just
business
over
days, but
2 weeks.
the code says
Yeah.
15 days.
I mean, I think that's reasonable, I assume, you're sure.
I mean, if you get it to us sooner, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know Christian has asked, if we can do kind of incremental solutions, we'll do what we can.
So that's Monday, October 28th, I believe.
Okay.
I'm assuming, Christian, I'm assuming the DEC, all that stuff is satisfied.
With this, it's under an acre, and I think even with the addition of the parking lot, it's gonna be under an acre. So I don't think it's gonna be an issue with the DEC. Or stormwater.
Okay, so should we continue the meeting to November the 12th?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes,
With regard to the supplemental parking lot, if you will. Are you looking for signage coming out of the lot or signage on the road?
I'm looking for anything that would create a noticeable signage that tells the people coming, there's a parking lot there, people are moving in and out.
Would that be city or would that be us?
You guys can think about what makes sense and propose something, whether it's working with the city, to put something in the right of way, or I don't think we know.
There used to be
the answer
a
is, but,
policeman
you know.
down at the bottom of the.
No, it's just that right now, there's nothing there.
Small, those
Something, right now, there's nothing there, it's just that parking lot that you.
Right, and now cars are coming unexpectedly, if you've lived in that area, you're not expecting cars to exit from,
Exactly.
from that area, so.
I mean, but it is an existing lot.
Obviously, but we're gonna put more cars in there than I think there's in there now.
Signage is something that we could.
What'd you say, Gene?
It could be just a hidden driveway sign.
Didn't drive,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
it, yeah.
Yellow warning sign.
Fine.
That's easy.
Before and after.
You know, I'm not an expert on it, but I know something needs to be there to let people know
Yeah,
it's there.
that's all.
Like when I'm driving and I see a little sign that has a T like that, it tells me that that's a road coming out there. You know, something.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with the lot, we used to play wiffle ball on it. The Giornos lived on one corner, the Rossies lived on the other corner, the Coxons lived in the next house. And people parked next to their house, but that was always just a field. And it was a place that we played as kids, rode our bikes through
So
there.
that's a vacant lot.
Yep.
Hmm.
And in developing this parking lot, the driveway is gonna be 1 lane or 2 lane?
You mean coming in and going out?
Going into the parking lot.
1 lane, yeah.
Yeah.
Coming in the park,
No,
Yeah.
no,
this is why you come in.
they're doing it now. The people that are using it, the company don't.
Yeah, but we're going from a few cars now to,
And this is gonna be just the employees, it says in offices.
they're all going in at the same time coming out.
Correct. Well, they're not gonna be in the same office, they're gonna be different offices, so I'm assuming staggered.
I'll just leave you with this thought, anytime there's an improvement to like an existing non-conforming condition, whether it's stormwater or what have you. Typically, it's always the case, it's in better shape after the project is done than it is today. So whether that be signage, I mean, it's being used as a parking lot today, improvements will just make it more luminous.
We hope. I've seen the opposite, but that's okay. Just something, we'll look at it when you close it, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we want to move this to November 12th.
On that,
Okay.
November 12th is Tuesday, Monday the 11th is Veterans Day. November, which is a national holiday. The informal council meeting.
Oh, it's
at
moving
6
that
p.m.
meeting.
So on the holiday, they move, like,
Their meeting.
to the next
They,
day.
yeah, they moved their meeting
So
to.
I would, that would be moving us, and we would have to come up with another day.
Should we be on the Wednesday? Can we just,
Well, my computer just shut down, but Veterans Day is on Monday.
Somebody else, so leave us alone.
So that,
I mean, look, blackball us.
Well, can we go to another location perhaps?
Yeah.
Well, let's just talk about that.
well, we only have one meeting now. This system.
So far.
Well, I mean, what about, is the firehouse still around for me?
Yeah, but we only have one of this system.
Oh, I see.
Right, let it carry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They will be
That's
using,
why we didn't want the firehouse.
Your options are don't hold another meeting or find an alternate date.
Don't hold another meeting. We have to get back to you, because I don't have
No,
the
we need
city
a
council.
date.
That means I have to go on the city council. Oh, Linda, is Linda, can we hear Linda? Linda,
hold on, you learn.
ask her to, look at the city, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you look at the
Yes,
city council and give us a date for November, please? Because it looks like the, common council may be holding their meeting on our day, which is the 12th. Do they have a November calendar? I mean, okay, oh, and we are being moved, okay.
No, it doesn't say,
It doesn't
it's
say.
shown that it's shown that it's Veterans Day, and they have the meeting on that day. So I'm sure they move the meeting, like they do every year.
Well, let's ask Tom, Tom's online.
Is it?
Ask Tom.
Okay,
25th is open.
Not the 13th.
No, that works for me.
What?
Yes. Yes,
Tom,
we would be moving to the next day. That's
okay, thank you for that.
So the 13th is not available?
No,
Okay, so the 25th is the first available?
The 13th says that it's been canceled, the housing trust fund. Oh, yeah.
yes, canceled. So it's free.
Okay,
I think we should do that.
Which day is that?
The 13th of November, Wednesday.
All four of you will need to be available.
I'm available. I'm
Yeah, sounds
available.
good. Give me a run.
Yeah.
4 of us available.
So work for you?
So thank you, Jenny, for pointing that out.
So get that on Wednesday.
Yes, and so the 15 days prior would run from that date?
We're gonna keep
Extra-
the 15
extra
days,
days.
but no.
Yeah.
That's giving us.
It's a holiday.
Got it.
Yeah, please, no. Okay, so we're gonna have the meeting on the 13th, which is that Wednesday. We're all gonna be available at 6:30, and it's gonna be here.
So motion continuing public hearing,
Motion to continue the public hearing
30 p.m.
till 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024.
Our second.
Jimmy start first.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys be ready?
Always.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to open up the public hearing for Middle Street lots?
I think.
We're not doing, we're not doing.
We're gonna open it. Random first, Jenny second. Okay, Middle Street is not here. He's so well known. No. Okay.
Those
Yeah,
three.
okay.
We're on those street now.
Yes,
We got one sign up.
one, okay.
And see if anybody else is.
Okay, we have the sign up sheet for Mill Street. And if you're not on the sign up sheet, we're not gonna call you. That means you won't be able to talk. So I'm giving you an opportunity. Is there anyone that would say something on the Middle Street?
Yeah, I'd just like to chime in.
Okay, not that, sign up, please. Thank you. Yeah,
What's your name?
Josh.
yeah, he's not on.
Oh, you're not on it, okay. Kevin, who's Kevin?
All right.
Who said that?
I did see you.
Kevin said it.
Kevin said it? This guy was about way, I couldn't see you.
Did you want to find out there?
James gonna continue. Make it stop.
Trying to nab my.
It's a service charge.
Yeah.
Okay, so you here?
Yeah, so who's up first?
Mill Street, Kevin Johnson, 238 Mill Street. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a meeting, we don't have a quorum at the moment,
Oh, wait.
we have to wait for Judy.
Sorry, Kevin. I tried.
So again.
Yeah, you still want to say it?
What? They can't.
You got some sort of a special dispensation from 38.
I could
On the way.
Huh?
I think you got it.
I hope you got it.
No, he's got it. This could only be a second. Yeah.
Are we muted right now?
No.
Oh, you didn't have to wait for me. Well, here. Oh, I do.
I thought we had to vote.
What
We
happened?
had to have a quorum to vote.
You have to have a quorum to have a meeting.
To have any
Oh.
interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, great, all right, okay, Kevin,
Yes, ma'am. All right, Kevin Johnson, 238 Mill Street. First, I have a question. Do we know, is there a record, did the mayor get permission from the city council to sell the land to the developer? That would be normal procedure, right? But I don't
Yes.
know that that actually happened.
yes, Tom said yes.
Yes.
Okay. My next door neighbor is Kia Walker. She couldn't be here tonight. She had a school board meeting. But the school board that she's on, she made sure of this before she passed it on to me. Never put in a proposal for the, back of the ballot for this sale to even be, can't see. For us to be in a position, or for school board never put in a proposal to be in a position to sell the land to the city, the back of the ballot proposal. That
It's
didn't
not a
happen.
sale. It's not a sale.
It's not a sale.
It's not a sale.
The school district's not selling to the city?
No, the school district is giving up their reverter clause. They're not selling.
Okay, so both those things were, in my mind, proper channels, and we've stated it before, honestly.
Yeah.
You poo-pooed it, the notion, the Teresa, I'm sorry, I'm trying to, again, can't read, can't see. But and I don't mean that as a disrespect, but when we said that it feels like this is being pushed through, like it's being expedited, you.
Because we wasn't
Like,
approving anything, we just
okay,
approving their people so they can go.
so those sorts of not put through proper channel type of things, and there's others that we have brought up in these, chances when we get to talk. They are the reasons why, those are the reasons why it feels like it's being expedited. and
These
pushed
kinds of
through.
ownership issues though, are just outside of the planning board's review. The planning board generally is concerned with what's on the ground, how does it work, how is it enforced, how do we deal with the development? Ownership of the project and that's not something we get into in the review. So it's not that the board doesn't care about the issue, it's just, it's not a planning board issue.
So where would you go to make it an issue if we feel like it is?
So common council, this is a project that the common council is working on. So common council has asked the school board to lift the right of reverter on the deed.
Okay.
So they would be an appropriate body for your complaints
You could try,
on that particular issue.
maybe the alderman, start with the alderman, or your board. Who's that?
She's sitting next to me.
Okay, so, are you done, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Josh Kidd.
Josh.
Josh Kidd, 230 Main Street. I would like to commend the board on the thoughts and considerations to all the, the concerns of the project up there on Fairview Avenue. I only wish you gave a portion of that concern to our project down here on Mill Street. And to the common council, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves for going against that dead man's wishes for the use of that property. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Well, are you done, sir?
I'm done.
LIND. Hudson.
Put my name down.
LIND.
Linda Musk.
Linda Buster, okay.
So I still have a lot of issues around the flood zone in this area, and I'm not convinced that that has really been explored totally. That this area is in reality, it's like building on a swamp. And I would be really, all due respect to the engineer consultant, I would really
He's
like.
our consultant, so I thought, Chris is for the planning board, so I thought maybe he would be able to.
I don't expect an answer tonight,
Oh.
because I would imagine that's a more complicated answer than you could give off the top of your head, but I think the planning board has heard the applicants say they can do all these things, and they're guaranteeing to do all these things, but in reality, I have a lot of questions about the amount of water in that area and the impact on the citizens that already live there, as well as on the project itself. That's one enough, and this hearing not gonna close tonight, am I?
No.
So I reserve more comments later.
Yeah, no,
Thank you for all your work. And I am concerned, like, how many people are actually on the planning board now?
we have 6 members. Unfortunately, we have, a few, request absences too, you know, for family, other issues, and then we have 1 vacancy.
Okay, so I see, I'm missing some people, so I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for clarification. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we have two requested absences, so it kind of proves that, you know, they can't make it for a reason, and then we do have 1 vacancy, so,
Thank you.
we're not anything.
Faith Gilbert.
Yes.
I'll say most of my comments were after the next time that the developers are here and can offer any updates to the plan.
Well, we can, if she asks questions, you can ask the questions, if our consultant has reviewed their plans, he can give you a perspective on, what we reviewed.
Okay, I don't have any specific questions in that regard right now. I'm just interested to hear any updates from the developers and what they can do. I do want to echo my colleagues here and Linda. You know, I'm sure I'm not the only one that was quite disappointed to see the secret document expedited for this process. And I just want to be really clear that our neighborhood is not opposed to affordable housing. We're not opposed to any version of this project. We're not here with any ill will, but our neighborhood, a lot of us have lived down there. I knew the neighborhood, but a lot of my neighbors have been there for multiple decades, and our concerns are quite real and quite substantive and related to public health and safety and welfare, which I believe are very much the concerns of this board. So if you haven't had a chance to read through the letter that we drafted as a neighborhood that outlined all of our concerns, things like flood water, access, sidewalks, removal of parkland, et cetera, I really encourage you and request that you do that. And I just want to make sure that, you know, we're on the same page here, that we really want to see this project get the review it deserves. And I think the fact that it's coming from the city, that the city is behind it, puts some really challenging conflicts of interest in play. And I just want to remind the board that affordable housing projects don't always go as planned, and they don't always turn out to be public assets. We're in a position now where, for example, we're all aware the challenges with the towers, and some of that is structural because of the ground underneath the building. You have a building that's constructed, and that building is not that old. So I just want to make sure we don't put ourselves in a position where 40 years down the line, we have to fully rebuild this building because we took shortcuts on environmental review, on reviewing engineering, or put too much trust in the developers. I don't think that for them, it's an altruistic event. It's, you know, something that they're doing for all their own reasons. I just want to make sure we're giving this project a very thorough review. I would rather see it delayed another year and built really well and stably and an asset for the neighborhood. That's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Anybody else want to go second time? Is anybody on Zoom?
Nobody is,
Okay, so
that wants to, that's asking a question.
there is,
There's nobody that's asking a question, but there are people.
okay, so can I get a motion to forward this, continue this public hearing
November 13th.
to November the 25th? Oh,
No,
we're going
13th.
No.
We'll be there Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry, I got it written down here. Okay, so November the 13th. 6:30. 6:30.
I make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I will continue this one. Now we're in other business. Okay, 309-311 State Street.
Hi. Thank you.
Okay, I think we should, do we have, as long.
We did in July, 1,500 in July, I don't know. Did you pay it?
I paid it.
Hotel, he does it. 309-311.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay, I'm sorry, sir, but come forward, please.
Okay, so, as a reminder, this is the project at 309-311 State Street. Existing double wide lot, with 2 addresses that we're looking to subdivide, in the middle to create 2 lots. That's the objective of the planning board. Last we spoke, a few months ago, there were some requested updates to the survey plat, and, I have, made those updates and resubmitted. And today I'm hoping to get the public hearing set and hear, any comments that you need before that.
Any comments on the board?
What is the timeline to get the variance from the city of Hudson?
The zoning board has already approved this project, this subdivision, or the variances that are required for the subdivision.
So nothing else needs to be done with that?
Correct, yeah. So the process we went through was planning in February. Couple like planning, and then did the zoning, got the approval there, back to planning. So the last piece
It's
is,
just, I'm looking at the wording here.
I think that's the original note, but there's been,
Yeah, the variances.
Okay.
Yeah, so the next step is then schedule a public hearing for next November 13th.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna.
okay, yeah, I thought we had scheduled a public hearing, but I forget. Sort of for whatever reason, this ended up just being a regular. Yeah.
I make a motion. Yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, if you had, I know that you had submitted some stuff, but it was late.
Yeah, yeah,
And I apologize to you, but,
that's okay. No, I didn't know about the new system and everything and.
well, it was
Yeah.
always the system, but we're just enforcing it now.
Yeah.
It's always been there, it's like, but now we're just giving. Okay.
So in advance of that, is there anything else that you think will be an
Do
issue?
we need proof of the variance?
I will provide it,
I haven't got it. Do you have a copy of the variance approval?
Did they do a resolution?
They did a resolution. I'm not
Okay,
sure
so it's
exactly
not-
what. I don't have a document. I asked them what if, this was like 4 months ago. But the same person, I think, Linda maybe is the one who does both, right? She might know where that
The
is.
resolution should have been done by the attorney.
so we'll follow up.
We'll follow, we'll follow,
Okay,
okay?
is there someone I should reach out to on, that would have that?
We'll let you know if we can find them.
Okay, all right, thank
We
you.
will.
Yeah, I mean.
I know that we were. I think we were standing here and there was a vote and they said yes, and they said, we'll follow up. And they said, we're good, so then that was that. I don't know if I didn't get a document from them.
Okay, we'll follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I had one question.
Oh, sure.
It would be a condition. You were gonna suggest that you just identify the zoning district on the map and that you receive the variance, but.
On this, on the plat, or is it on a separate?
Yeah, on the plat.
Okay, yeah, the zoning district is, it's actually part of the overview doc, I think the zoning map is part of the overview document. which is more just like the narrative document.
If you could just include it on the plat, have the surveyor add what's on district consent.
Okay.
And an asterisk saying that, you know, variance received for lot size on such and such date.
And then we need a box in the signature.
Yeah.
Victoria,
Yeah,
Victoria,
I can hear you.
the resolution was filed with the city clerk and it's on the website.
Oh, okay, great.
Nice. Thank you.
Is it multi-cut? Is it in our,
So, find it, I would find it on the website, and upload it to the process.
yeah, okay, so it should have been uploaded to you. It's not in the municipal app.
Okay.
Just include that resolution number.
Wait, Linda, would you upload that resolution to the municipal app under that application, please? And then we can all see it. So she's gonna upload it and then it'll be right there. Do you get the email?
I get email.
Yeah, does everyone get the email?
Yeah.
When something comes on, good.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things. Alright, so.
Okay, so the
So
goal
we
is
have it,
to,
so they're gonna upload it on the packet.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, I'll upload that. And then the map, maybe a note below it saying R4 zoning, approved with the resolution number.
Variance granted, you know, variance for whatever the variance, it was for lot size, so
Yeah.
variance to allow X
Okay.
acre lot approved on such and such date, so that there's a quicker go.
Okay? Cause this is what will be filed.
With the county.
Yeah, okay.
And it was planned, so that's probably make the box. So.
Oh, and you can also ask the surveyor to put on, there's a signature box, that the chairwoman is gonna have to sign after it's approved.
Is this like on the bottom left? Is that, okay, I think that's for you, right?
Yeah, that's, it's on there. Yeah.
Let me show you how big my son is. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so maybe.
Oh,
it
yeah,
should be a
I
little
was
bigger.
picturing like a
No.
signature.
There it is, you got.
Yeah. Oh,
And that, so you know that has to be a
yeah.
little bit bigger. Thank you.
Okay.
Stamp on the inside.
Then what about the other one?
Get it on.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we've scheduled you for the public hearing for next month, and we'll see you then.
Okay, perfect.
So State Street wants to go. So we're going to, I guess, just leave them for next month.
Oh, and on the bills, was I good? Did we decide?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have any bills for you this month, you're up to date,
And I don't really know.
and you're up to date.
How much is left in escrow?
For him? $11.80.
Okay, so we're good. Yep, and it might come back, we'll see. All right, thanks, team.
All right. So now I guess we're just going to go to business. We want to talk about the hard stop before you guys leave. So we can all understand what that is and if we want to go. Okay, now, we're talking about the clinical policies. If anybody has understanding, we're just gonna go on the hard stop on the something. And the hard stop is, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's just setting a firm stop time for the meeting. I think that's very important.
And then putting everything on the next one.
It's good in one sense, in that board members get tired after a period of time, however, things get carried over, so it could slow a project down or it could just result in continuously having long meetings. It just gets
What I would like to propose is that we have a meeting, it stops no later than 8:30. But on the books, we have scheduled a second meeting the same month for old business, only old business.
You mean only.
So if we don't have old business, that meeting doesn't take place.
It's the new business,
Carryover.
because it's the new business that's gonna get dropped.
And only things to be on that second meeting is what's on the first agenda that we did not get to.
Right,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think?
That makes sense. Because even if we wanted to, if it's a hard stop for some reason, we're right in the middle of something, it's gonna take 5 more minutes to finish.
I think
We can elect to do it.
8:30 though, I think 9 is more reasonable.
Yeah.
But.
So,
Because the applicants come out, they're gonna pay to have a whole consultant team with them, who's gonna sit
Well, I
there.
think our aim should be 8:30, and if we have to, we go till 9. But I don't think, I think,
Yeah, I think nine would be the hard stop.
but I think we should shoot for 8:30. There's no reason why we should have longer than 2 hours.
I agree.
Well, there is, because we have multiple applicants, and it's a lot of information that needs to be addressed
But
by us to them to us. So we're gonna need that extra time. If we keep putting it off until the next meeting.
well, maybe everybody has to be more succinct.
Or a second.
Because I think we're spending a lot of time that doesn't need, it's not necessary. I mean, some things are necessary, but we've been spending a lot of time on unnecessary things.
look, give us an example of what's unnecessary.
Well, we should come, as a board, we should come here prepared. Our questions should already be asked to the consultants. And then we come here to hear the applicants and to either take that in or vote on something that's presented to us, ready to vote on.
But let's say something, it prompts more questions. So it's not like we can front load the process all the time.
No, I agree, it's not always possible, but I think a 2-hour meeting should be our aim.
I
If
agree.
we have to go another half an hour, that's fine. Also, to start on time, maybe we get here as like earlier and set things up. If you need somebody to set it up or teach somebody to set it up, but we'd be ready to go at 6:30.
Another option is to only do the public hearings in the first meeting, and then
Oh, yeah,
more of a discussion on other items.
Old items.
But old,
But
oh,
that's,
it can't just be old, because there's you have new business in,
right,
they have to have, we can't put them off further.
right.
can I say whatever? Oh, gee.
Well, why not?
We can
this
yes,
be
this can be
addressed
discussed.
At the first formal meeting and
Let's
old
talk about
business
discussion.
be
You can't
carried
keep
over.
expecting it.
Because you have to have your public
We
hearings
can
first.
talk about this by email.
Accident. One of the things I observed is that since we cannot really stop people from, give them time to for the public hearing. But if they want to speak again, we can't stop them. And, okay,
Twice.
If we had a consistent policy, you could do that.
okay, today we had consistent policy where I said 2 minutes and then I'll give them a second time for another 2 minutes soon,
Okay.
okay? Like tonight, we had, if everybody came, we would have had 1, 2, 3 public hearings.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
We have multiple projects, and these are not little wiki
Exactly.
projects. They're large projects, and there's a lot of information going either way to and fro.
I think we're all agreeing. The aim should be 2 hours if we have to go 3, but I think.
I think 9:30, I think hard stop is probably good, there's been some very long meetings, but 2 hours goes very quickly, and it's a lot to mobilize everyone to get here and then to have.
But shouldn't we start on time?
Well, we do, Jenny.
Well, tonight was an exception because we had a technical problem.
But Jim, you start
That's my
later,
law.
so.
And can we?
Okay, what
Right, you guys can decide if you want to.
yeah, one of the things that you had brought up is that, now this is not something that's gonna continue. We hope that these public, everybody move out, no public hearings anymore. I mean, how much can be built in?
Can I chime in a little bit?
Yeah,
Going forward, if you stop having the public hearing until you're ready to have the public hearings. The problem is this board has opened public hearings before they should have been. The Boulevard is not ready for a public hearing because they're still in the midst of making major site plan modifications and have not appeased the board to a level that it's ready for the public to comment. So if you limit the public hearings to 1 or 2 meetings, you're not gonna have multiple public hearings on an agenda. Public hearings happen towards the end of the project, you get the public's comment, because if you actually listen to the public out here, They're saying the same thing every meeting. That's true. You're not learning anything new by keeping these public hearings open. Just something to think about,
Thank you.
going forward.
And can the public send any comments either?
The public-
Public hearing? They can still send comments on the public, right?
They can write to the board.
Yeah.
But you know, but the boulevards being an example, through our continued meetings, we were able to better help the client meet the needs of the public and shape that project in a way that's now much more acceptable. That would have happened if we didn't, I don't see another week to having that happen. If we had so many meetings.
You as a planning board had those concerns of density. So that wasn't necessarily the public's comment. You as a planning board already had those concerns and ideas in the back of your head. It's you as a planning board being more vocal with these applicants, saying, this is what we want to see you do to get to that point.
Cause that was the first one of the first points that, Christian, the consultant had brought out about density, of not having the space.
Yeah, so you knew that way back when I first started, that it was, a dense project, you didn't like the density.
Right, but they just, but it took all these iterations for them, for us to have this sort of meeting of the minds of where we're at. I don't know, how would this have occurred?
You as a planning board, make your voice known to the applicant, that you have a density issue, they need to address it before you go further with the project.
Yeah, I agree that it was some things with boulevards that. Cause they had asked, and I think I said, no, they're not ready, but we all agreed to take them to a public hearing. So we'll be more diligent in the next projects that come along. To really let like Mill Street, I don't think they should be in the code.
Well, I think this whole conversation should get an agenda meeting. I think we should close this meeting. If our business is over.
So I wanted to get an agreement or something on hard stop. I think the hard stop is,
I'm okay with 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I vote for 9.
okay, so we're gonna do a hard stop and then we'll always have a second, date for a meeting. Opposed, so just go with the rule. Opposed to the hard stop, or then it doesn't go, that's it. 'Cause-
Well, no, Jenny's our time, right?
No, it's 4 of us, and if he opposed, then that's it. Forget it, so it's not.
It can be brought up again.
We'll go to-
Okay.
So we're not, so let's move on. Okay.
Yeah, let's revisit this.
Yeah, how about the posting of anonymous, stuff?
So, we did send around a policy, what do we call that?
You said,
No, you sent us a draft and we made a few revisions to it. I can talk to you guys quickly if you want.
yeah, I found something at another meeting.
The concern was that, now that we have Muni Collab, it's a public forum where the city is uploading documents for everyone to see.
Right.
And so, while it's routine to upload, application materials, if you're going to start uploading public comments, we wanted to have some kind of policy, because if someone submits something, pornographic or, that's inappropriate, we wanted to make sure that there was something in place saying that the chairwoman has discretion not to post it. It would still be a record for the board. But it wouldn't be posted. So what we have proposed, the chairwoman found a model. We just modified it slightly. Your comments are reviewed by the Hudson Planning Board chairperson before they're approved for posting. Please review the items below before posting a comment. We will not approve for posting content that contains obscenity, explicit sexual content, threatening or harassing content, or derogatory terms for specific individuals or groups. We will not approve for posting any form of spam or commercial content that promotes services or products that involves political campaigning or lobbying. We will not approve posting with confidential information about minors, employees, or families associated with the city of Hudson. And all user-generated content is released into public domain and becomes part of the public record. Do not submit anything you do not wish to broadcast to the public. So something like this, if you guys are comfortable with that, we can work it up into a.
Does that cover the not people submitting, say, don't put my name on it, but post it,
I mean, people are allowed to make anonymous comments.
and we have to post them? Oh, okay, so it's okay as long as they're not of
inappropriate.
It meets this criteria.
Right, it meets the criteria, yeah, and it doesn't matter if they meet the right criteria. then we-
Are you looking for a motion, or are you looking for?
Right now, I was just reading you to see if this was something that the board wanted to move forward with, because otherwise the comments are not gonna be made publicly available on Muni Collab. They'll just continue to be made available to the planning board.
Can I make a motion and then see if you,
Can I second?
well, I'm gonna,
All in favor?
so the motion carried.
Okay. All right,
All
that's.
right, so I'll finish up and send it over.
Okay, so, go ahead with the bills, because we do have planning board, reports and committees, we just talked about that. We don't, anybody here at the planning board have anything to make? It's our time, Jenny, you spoke about what you need to talk. Jean? All right, so we move on down to, HMDA. Okay, no, okay, bills, we got the bills.
Yeah, good night, thank you.
I don't think so.
Don't have a motion.
I tried.
Tomorrow.
No, because it doesn't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did our training thing get approved?
Oh, yeah,
For your training, the training that my office provided was approved.
Yeah.
But I don't believe the Muni Collab training.
no, it was not. But you said you're gonna give us some, you're gonna make.
Yeah, we're gonna do another training session for you.
Because we're all.
Okay, so what about the one that was going to, what about the one down there, in Dutchess?
Then the county's not paying for that. When it's free training, I think I sent out an email.
Even though, but we have a budget.
I didn't ask,
No,
that,
that
yes,
was.
trainings are, I didn't ask anything about that. I only got my training.
Huh?
Okay, but I'm saying we have money for that.
Yeah. Money for planning board members to go to training.
Okay,
You
yeah.
can talk to the chairwoman about how you want to handle it.
So,
Okay. Good night.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, so, as soon as she's gonna make up for the multi-craft training, so that we can all have our 4 hours. This year, okay?
Okay.
Because they did not approve the multi. All right, so go ahead, Gene, I'm sorry.
The only
bills,
only bills I have for this month is from Vicky's group, and everybody except 726 Columbia, there were resolution passed last month to do escrow. We have not received any funds, and Vicky's group.
726.
That's the place that said they're gonna do a theater and all this, but they're already doing something.
The resolution was passed last month and they were made aware of it. It hasn't been paid yet. And Vicky's group has a bill for $525.
Little than 35. It's 720.
724, 726 Columbia. It's a brewery across from the bank.
No, we're in,
Oh, these are paying bills and escrow.
yeah,
But did he say that, his assertion was that because seeker was already approved, that he didn't need additional planning board approval on what they're doing now?
that's what he said, but
And we don't even have an
our
application.
attorney and our consultant told him that was himself, but
Right.
they didn't listen.
Yeah, and we don't have an application. So we can't even escrow them have an application.
I'm not placing it.
No, it's something else.
Well, they were told by the consultant and the attorney that,
So I don't know if we're missing it, or maybe they didn't understand what they need to prove.
According to the treasurer's report this morning, there's no escrow account. There's no money to enter an escrow account for that.
Okay.
and I did ask, the code enforcement office, because I didn't notice the permit when they were going.
Craig's on the
But now
line.
they.
Craig's on the line.
Okay,
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to ask a question?
No, he already told me that,
Okay.
the permit had nothing to do with the planning board.
Gotcha.
The,
And when they came to us, I'm looking for the application.
motion to establish escrow of $10,000
Exactly, so they had a.
by Mr. Martin, seconded by Ms. Casasco, approved.
They had to have had an application to even be on
Yeah.
the agenda.
Who's it say, the applicant?
It just, oh, this is just the,
Just the motion.
agenda, this is just the agenda.
Okay.
I don't have the actual thing.
I'll pull it up. I have no internet service.
So the bills that are authorized to be paid is 735 Columbia, 612 Hudson Avenue, 117, 119 Fairview Avenue, 601 Union, State Street Lofts, Mill Street Lofts, 1012 Warren Street, and North Second Street Extension.
These are going out, these are paying consultants for their.
Yes, this is Vicky's bill.
Gotcha.
So can I get a motion to approve the, invoices for payment? Oh,
Second.
all approved?
Aye.
All in favor? No. Okay, so pass. And, did everybody read the minutes for September?
Yes.
Serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it here. What is the problem with it?
You want me to make a motion for the?
To speak up or?
We abide by the open law.
Yeah.
And I think she is getting them on time, but they are extensive, that we didn't want to do the quoting. There's no quotations, but there's a lot of, direct comments, so. Well, anyway, that's just, that's something I have to take up with
Is it back
you.
there?
I don't know, I have to go online and see that.
I think they should be
Yes, yeah,
as brief as possible.
Exactly.
And somebody can go to the audio.
and we're looking at the
video.
tape, that's what I think, it should be a little brief as possible, you know?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, for June and September, did you read through, because we didn't approve the minutes for
Yeah.
June.
I second the motion.
And we will get, back to Linda on that, okay?
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
so we're doing what months now?
June 2024 and September.
June and September. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good night.
Wait, give me one minute, comment.
8:30.
Yep.
Okay, good.
8:30 on the dot.
I like
There you go, close the
Close. Right, and up the roof.